Did you know that 85% of every course purchase out there, the things that people pay for, never actually get completed? I myself spent months, almost a year, making an epic course, which I still think is very good, by the way, but it went nowhere. And the reason why was something that I didn't quite understand until I went and looked at a lot of the top course creators. I purchased a majority of some of the greatest courses in different niches, and I realized something special. So in this video, I'm going to show you the fastest, the easiest, and the safest way for you to powerfully create a course that will transform your audience into an engaged community. And you leverage that community to build the most incredible course that you can, one that will transform your YouTube channel and revolutionize your business. The big mistake that creators like myself make is that even if they go and talk to a few people, they go and map out the course exactly how they think it should be run. When in reality, the best way for somebody to create a course is actually by using and leveraging a community. Now, there's a 2022 study by Research and Markets, such as an e-learning industry data point, right? E-learning and education online is actually worth over $300 billion, but the completion rates are on average around 3%. And why is that? Well, just like me, I'm sure that you are probably overwhelmed with a tremendous amount of information. People aren't really starving for more knowledge. They're seeking wisdom and practical applications. What they really want are results and outcomes. Nobody cares about content anymore. So the real problem ends up being that what I did and what you might have done as well if you created a course already is that you actually are creating content for your audience instead of with them. One of the key things that's going to make a huge difference in actually how your courses will get completed is by understanding the power of community and especially cohorts within those communities. So imagine this. You get this bright, shiny new piece of content, something that you are actually interested and eager to learn about, but you are doing so alone. That explains why these abysmal rates are the way that they are. Because when you have to do something independently, it is going to be extremely tough. Life happens, right? But instead, when you actually go through and work as a team or at a specific cohort, especially one that has other people that are learning or other people who are mentors, that guided support makes sure that you are moving along the pathway in a way that actually works and resonates with people. Because when you think about going through all this information together, it is going to be extremely difficult if you get stuck to get unstuck. So having that powerful mentor means that you, as a content creator and the key educator in this instance, can go with and alongside your audience in a way that makes sure that they get extreme value from the content you are creating. But all the better when other people are going through that same challenge and trying to learn things together. You might have gone to continuing education. You might have gone to college or university. And having those teams that you set up aren't always everybody's favorite things to do. The difference with online education is that everybody is going after a specific transformation. And you can either choose or be a part of a group of people that you know are absolutely dedicated to trying to do the exact same things. In my instance, I am building a community of community builders. So these are all people who want to take their audiences online and transform them into communities that will be profitable and ethically monetized. So that's why community is actually the new course. Building things with your audience together means that you are going to be creating the right kinds of content for them as they are going through the problems and the challenges on the pathway of their transformation. And when I looked at some of the absolute best community builders and course creators and the people who did both of those things well together, so very often the course did not exist. They built it with the audience in mind, and they did so through an actual workshop method. It was beautiful because whenever I would go inside of these communities, I would see that there was a plan for what was going to be created, and I could have a say in what I needed. For example, for me, as an online creator, somebody who's newer to this space but has done a lot of work through things like Monday.com and building lots of communities over the past 10 years, I didn't know anything about lighting and video recording and other types of situations that would make sure that the content I was making was actually valuable, insightful, but also pleasant to watch, well structured, and other things. So I got to talk with the creator of the community and I said, hey, I would like to learn these. And they pulled in an expert from the community who was able to go in and teach a class about presentation and lighting and other valuable things. So, why exactly does this work so well? Well, there are pros and cons to everything that's happening here. But what is especially unique about this is that whenever people are co creating, they commit to the future of the course, of the content, and of your community. You're going to be able to get things like higher engagement and accountability for what people are doing. They're going to be able to be a part of this regularly, and they're going to be able to experience more unique things because of their being involved in this. Now, what you want to be careful of, though, is dependency on the team. Depending on how you set it up, there could be also conflict that's a part of this, right? So you do have to have a little bit more coordination and effective moderation for bringing this to life. But when you think about platforms like Maven, for example, those platforms thrive on their education because they are centered around that community. And people feel a lot more ownership. That's what helps them stay engaged. So don't guess at what your audience wants. Let them absolutely tell you what they want. That way you're building with them and not just for them. So now that we understand why this works, let's talk a little bit more about the how. And community driven products work so very well for four different reasons that we're going to touch on here. The first one is that we absolutely need to leverage that collective knowledge. Communities, they give you the ability to actually get feedback, and your course can evolve and rapidly improve. The first version of anything, right? Like maybe this video, for example, or something else that you might be creating, isn't necessarily going to be at its best. But if you go over and over, you get better iterations, you practice, you learn, you set things up more appropriately, and you also understand the stumbling blocks of what your community is running into. It's going to let you make that much more powerful content that will keep people engaged and work with them. The most important thing, though, is that you commit and actually do it. So, one of the other benefits of this, if you have a community of other people that are doing this with you, is that you have that accountability and engagement. Being able to hold each other accountable to say that this is week 1, week 2, or however you want to set this up, that's going to increase the completion rate. Most people will drop out of these kinds of things as part of the process. But by leveraging these techniques, you are going to get far above that traditional 3% industry rate. Harvard Business Study Review actually found that people are 65% more likely to complete a goal if they share that specific goal with somebody else. So, in fact, what is also going to be there as part of this is that you're going to get much higher leverage, right? When you build this once, it will scale into infinity. And the way that will actually practically look is that you will have people go through these cohorts, you will build and improve, and you'll understand where those stumbling blocks are along the way. The emotional connection is also another really big key piece of this because communities will be able to foster belonging, right? That shared suffering of going through the experience and that transformation that they have, right? The course is going to help them make that simpler, but it is always going to be tough and they're going to need to have that core need of collective information. That's really going to make sure to transform people along the way so that they have shared stories and examples of what's going on here. That was just a little bit of a high level overview of the importance of actually co creating your courses with a community. When you go and end up building a community first, you'll find out that there is so much benefit and value to it because you're going to be able to have 3, 5, soon 10, 50, 100 people that are going through your course, and you'll be able to take a measurable impact and make sure that experience improves every single time. As that experience improves, you'll be able to charge more, and by that very nature, make it that much more valuable for people. When you charge more, people take things more seriously. So that's going to be an important factor for what we have to do here. But if you're curious about why this is so important to be creating a community now more than ever, check out this video here, which is going to tell you all about what's coming in the next 3 years and why creators need to learn the skill of community building now more than ever.